What do you hope to achieve for Charlie and for the country?
Oh my goodness. All of his wildest dreams for this organization.
Everything exploded the moment J.D. Vance's wife, Yusha, quietly closed the door of her D.C. townhouse last night because the secret she leaked wasn't just petty drama, wasn't just political gossip, and wasn't just a private feud between two conservative power couples. No. What she exposed was the kind of revelation that can ruin alliances, shatter reputations, and end presidential dreams before they even begin. And at the center of this firestorm stands one woman with ambition hotter than the White House chandelier themselves, Erika Kirk. According to early whispers that spread like wildfire between donors, campaign strategists, former staffers, influencers, and even a few nervous interns, allegedly revealed that Erika isn't just mourning, isn't just healing, isn't just moving forward. She's planning something political, something calculated, something very, very dangerous. The rumor started when a private text thread between Yusha and one of JD's closest aides mysteriously surfaced online. The screenshots, heavily redacted but absolutely explosive, hinted that Erika has been meeting with advisors, former media consultants, and a certain Bignum conservative strategist known for building First Lady-level public images. And when that strategist's name leaked, everything changed. Because this isn't just about Erika wanting attention. This isn't about her flashing a smile at conferences or posting inspirational Bible verses. This is about power. This is about positioning. This is about someone who once stood next to Charlie Kirk, now eyeing a role far beyond conservative influencer circles. And according to Asha's leak, Erika's political plan doesn't stop at reclaiming her co-station. It might end at the White House gates, but the real shock isn't Erika's ambition. It's who she's allegedly working with, who she's trying to manipulate, who she's willing to sacrifice, and what she whispered to a donor behind closed doors about J.D. Vance himself. That's the part that made Yusha say, enough, I won't let her get away with this. To understand why Vance would risk everything, her marriage, her political future, her image as the calm, controlled, soft-spoken wife of one of the most influential men in Washington, we need to rewind the story far before last night's leak, far before Erika's secret meetings, far before any whispers of First Lady ambition. Because the truth is, this tension didn't begin with politics. It began with history. Erika Kirk and Yusha Vance were never friends. Not in the polite political wife sense, not in the support your husband's allies sense, and definitely not in the behind the scenes, we stand together as women in a male-dominated arena sense. Their interactions from the very start were studied, sharp, and quietly competitive. The kind of rivalry only two highly intelligent, highly ambitious women can build without ever raising their voices. Their circles overlapped constantly. Charity galas, turning point events, private donor dinners, prayer breakfasts, conservative influencer retreats, fundraiser weekends, closed-door strategy sessions, women's leadership panels. Everywhere one went, the other eventually appeared, and quietly, subtly, the comparisons grew. Yusha is educated and elegant. Erika is charismatic and media-trained, is calm under pressure. Erika knows how to dominate a room. Their husbands added fuel to the fire. J.D. Von Sharp's strategic rising in power had the type of political trajectory that made donors whisper future cabinet. Charlie Kirk, media influential, had the type of platform that made people whisper future kingmaker. Conversation was happening, a darker one. Because while Charlie built an empire around influence and J.D. built a path toward national leadership, Erika and Yusha were building something else entirely. A quiet, unspoken war of positioning. A war that only intensified after Charlie's death. Erika's transformation from political wife to strategic asset taper Charlie passed. Erika didn't fade away like many expected. She didn't retreat into private grief. She didn't vanish to heal quietly. Instead, insiders noticed something troubling. She began showing up more, dressing sharper, speaking more boldly, appearing at conferences she never cared about before, reconnecting with old donors, meeting with women's leadership organizers, scheduling private dinners with media founders. She was calculating, she was building, she was evolving, even more suspicious. She started attending high-profile political events without being formally invited. According to a close TPUSA associate, she walked in like she still belonged to the empire, like Charlie's platform was hers, not his. It didn't take long for whispers to start. Is Erika planning something? Does she want to take Charlie's place? Is she aligning herself with political strategists? Why is she suddenly talking to donors again? But the most alarming whisper of all, who is coaching her? Because Erika wasn't acting alone. She was being guided, trained, toplish, prepared for something big. USHA notices the two Shaw had always been observant. Quiet doesn't mean clueless, and polite doesn't mean blind. She started noticing Erika's sudden presence at invitational dinners. She noticed Erika's conversations with a very particular strategist, Aldrin, known in DC as the image architect. Rebecca is the woman behind multiple political wives who transformed into full-blown public icons. She's expensive, she's powerful, and she never works with someone who doesn't have a long-term plan. So, when Shaw saw Erika leaving a side entrance of the same hotel Rebecca was staying in, she didn't think it was coincidence, but things got worse at a private dinner last month. A top donor let something slip. Erika said she wants to honor Charlie's legacy by continuing the mission. Continuing the mission, a phrase political strategists use only when they're preparing someone for office-adjacent visibility. You should immediately understood Erika didn't just want attention, she wanted a platform. But Usha assumed it would. Stop there until she received a text from one of JD's junior staffers. You won't believe what I heard Erika talking about with old. And that text included a phrase that changed everything, positioning herself as an eligible public figure for future leadership roles, including symbolic First Lady type influence, First Lady type A role directly connected to JD's world. This wasn't ambition. This was encroachment. This was dangerous. The dinner that changed everything? One detail leaked from a private DC dinner 2 weeks ago finally exposed the truth. At that dinner with two media CEOs, a political donor from Texas, a social media strategist, a former congressional staffer, Erika Kirk, invited by someone anonymously, and unbeknownst to Erika, Asha's friends seated nearby. According to the source, Erika was laughing, smiling, leaning in, radiating confidence that didn't match a grieving widow. And then she said the sentence that tore the ground out from under this entire scandal: JD will need a softer image in the next cycle. Someone relatable, someone visible, someone the public already knows. JD, not Senator Vance, not the Vances, just JD. Like she was speaking about someone she understood, someone she was analyzing, someone she believed she could help. The room froze. Even her dinner companions looked startled. But Erika wasn't done. She added, Usha doesn't connect. She's brilliant, but she's not iconic. And that sentence was the bullet that pierced Asha's patience, because Usha wasn't supposed to hear that, but she did. And right after that dinner, she started watching Erika more closely. The meetings, the dinners, the sudden confidence, the subtle attempts to attach herself to rising political figures. And then came the biggest discovery. A donor casually mentioned to Asha that Erika had asked him, "Do you think a woman in my situation could ever be viewed as First Lady material?" Someday, First Lady Matello, the audacity, the ambition, the calculation. You shall realize this wasn't random behavior. This wasn't grief. This wasn't a woman rebuilding her life. This was a woman building a political identity and aiming it dangerously close to JD Vance's world. And that's when Usha decided she couldn't stay silent anymore. Not after what she discovered next, because what Erika asked the strategist behind closed doors wasn't just ambitious, it was terrifying. And that secret is what Yusha leaked. The secret that would shake Washington. The secret that would expose Erika's true plan. The secret that made Yusha whisper. She's not just aiming for influence. She's aiming for the highest symbolic seat she can reach. The breaking point didn't come from armor. It didn't come from a donor whisper. It didn't even come from Erika. Quiet political networking. It came from a single conversation. One overheard, one leaked. One so staggering that it set off a chain reaction across Washington like a political earthquake. The moment that turned this from ambitious widow behavior into a full-blown political threat happened inside a luxury Georgetown townhouse where a handful of elite power players gathered for a private off-record strategy session. A meeting that Erika wasn't supposed to attend but somehow mysteriously showed up for Yusha. Didn't know she was there at first. Nobody did. Did because Erika didn't walk through the front door. Slipped in through the back, invited by someone Usha still hasn't identified. Inside the living room were Rebecca Aldrin, the image architect Senator Langford's wife. Abigail and other political spouse Erika had been courting a conservative media executive. Thomas bragged two wealthy donors from Florida. DeHaydens, a former RNC strategist, Marcus Hale, and sitting quietly in the corner, unnoticed at first, Asha's closest confidant, Priya. Priya wasn't supposed to hear anything. She wasn't even supposed to attend, but she was there as Alpha Verta U. She gathering intel, observing quietly, watching Erika's next move, and what she heard changed everything. The conversation that should have never happened. Priya described a moment like this. The room shifted when Erika spoke. It wasn't grief. It wasn't healing. It was ambition. Pure ambition. Erika didn't sit like a grieving widow. She lounged confidently, leaning toward Rebecca Aldrin like a mentee, hungry for direction. And then she said something that made Priya freeze. Rebecca, what do you think it takes for a woman to shape the public's perception of a future First Lady before the role even exists? First Lady before the role exists. As in preparing the image ahead of time, the strategist hesitated. The donors leaned in. Erika smiled. She continued. It's about building relatability, about shaping narratives early, about stepping into visibility so naturally that when the time comes, the public already sees you in that light. The room erupted into small talk, polite commentary, shallow laughs. But Priya wasn't laughing. She texted Wua immediately. She's talking about First Lady optics. This isn't normal, Yusha responded almost instantly. What? Send everything! Priya kept listening, her phone recording under the table. And then the moment that detonated the scandal exploded out of Erika's mouth. The public connects to my story more than hers. Hers meaning Yusha. Priya almost dropped her phone. Erika wasn't being subtle anymore. She wasn't dancing around the idea. She was directly comparing herself to Usha Vance, the current wife of the rising political star everyone whispers could one day be a presidential contender. Rebecca Aldrin asked cautiously, "Are you saying you want to be positioned as a political spouse?" "That's delicate." Erika didn't even blink. "I want to be positioned where the public sees me as a natural symbol of leadership beside someone with national influence." National influence beside someone. Priya's heart stopped. There was only one man everyone in that room knew she meant. Only one man with future presidential whispers. Only one man whose wife Erika had been subtly undermining for months. J.D. Vance. The line that broke Usha. Priya recorded. Everything but one sentence. Wham would become the match that ignited the incoming inferno. Erika said J.D. needs a partner who elevates him. Someone the public feels connected to emotionally. Someone they see as a relatable First Lady figure. Someone modern. Someone with presence. Presence. Relatable emotional bond with the public. Direct contrast to Asha's quieter, more composed persona. Then she added, and with the right team building my image, I can step into that role faster than anyone expects. Faster than anyone expects. Priya immediately texted Yusha again. She's talking about JD like he's a job opening. She's literally planning a first lady arc. You need to hear this. Yusha didn't reply for 10 minutes, but when she did, record everything. I'm coming, Yusha arrives, and the room Khalida Susha arrived quietly. So quietly, the room didn't notice her. At first, she stood at the entrance listening, absorbing every poisonous word dripping from Erika's mouth. And at that exact moment, Erika said something so bold, so unbelievable, so shockingly arrogant that Priya physically flinched. JD's next chapter needs a woman with a compelling narrative, a survivor, a widow, someone who understands public grief and resilience, someone the nation already sympathizes with. The room went silent. Erika's eyes sparkled, not with sadness, but with calculated confidence. She wasn't just inserting herself into political spaces. She was positioning herself to stand beside J.D. Vance as America's raw, emotional, relatable, leading woman. And that was the moment Washa stepped forward. Her voice was cold, sharp, controlled. You think you can step into my husband's life? The room froze, eyes widened. Erika jolted like she'd been struck. Thomas Bragg stood up, stuttering. Abigail Langford grabbed her wine glass, whispering, "Oh, God!" Under her breath, Rebecca Alodrin looked like someone had poured ice water down her spine. But Usha wasn't done. She walked toward Erika slowly, each step lethal. You think your grief gives you access to JD's political future? Erika tried to speak. Her lips trembled. Her posture shrank, but Usha tore right through her composure. You used Charlie's death to build sympathy, and now you want to use Jod's rising influence to build power? Gasps filled the room. But Erika cracked. Daughter eyes shifted. Her breath stuttered, and she whispered, I deserve a future too. A future! A role! A position! The donors went pale. Priya texted Osha again. Even though Asha was now right in front of her, she's not denying anything. But the shocking twist wasn't Erika's ambition. It was what she confessed next under pressure, under panic, under the crushing weight of being confronted by the one woman she had been secretly targeting. Erika whispered, I didn't just meet with strategists. I met with someone close to JD, someone who said things could change. The entire room erupted. Shouts, gasps, accusations. Someone close to JD, someone promising things could change. Who was it? A staffer, a donor, a strategist, a political advisor. Asha's voice broke through the chaos. Who told you that? And Erika's answer, it wasn't a name. It was a single chilling sentence. Someone who believes I could play a bigger role in the next administration. The next administration, as in J.D. Vance's future administration. The room dissolved into panic. This wasn't ambition. This wasn't grief-driven confusion. This was a political plot. Someone was grooming Erika. Someone was manipulating her. Someone was helping her imagine a future as a First Lady-style figure standing beside J.D. Vance. And that was the moment Yusha realized this wasn't just betrayal. This wasn't just disrespect. This was a strategic attempt to infiltrate JD's political orbit with support from inside Dot. Someone close, someone dangerous, someone feeding Erika the fantasy. But the identity of that person, that's the real twist coming next, because Usha leaked the rest. And what she leaked will change everything the moment Usha demanded to know who had fed Erika. The fantasy of becoming a First Lady type figure. The room fell into a suffocating silence. No one moved, not even the donors who had spent the last 20 minutes pretending they weren't witnessing a political grenade detonate in front of them. Erika's breaths came out shaky, uneven, and her eyes darted from face to face like a woman searching for an exit she knew didn't exist. Someone inside JD's orbit had encouraged her. Someone had given her confidence. Someone had whispered possibility into her ear. Yusha knew that if she didn't reveal the truth behind the leak, Washington wouldn't survive. The fallout. But Erika looked terrified, not embarrassed, not cornered, terrified. That alone told Usha everything she needed to know. There wasn't just ambition here, there was conspiracy. Priya stepped carefully behind Usha, placing a hand on her arm as if grounding her while everyone else leaned forward like vultures, waiting for a body to drop. For a long moment, Erika didn't speak. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Her lashes trembled. Her throat tightened. She swallowed hard, then finally whispered, "Someone on JD's exploratory team." Usha froze. Priya gasped. Rebecca Alodrin whispered, "Which one?" Under her breath, exploratory team meant only one thing. People preparing JD for the possibility of stepping into a future presidential race. This wasn't just inappropriate. This wasn't just embarrassing. This was treacherous. Usha stepped closer. "Give me a name." Erika shook her head like a frightened child. "I can't." They said not to. They said it could ruin everything. Yasha didn't blink. Ruin whose future? Yours or theirs? The donors exchanged glances. Thomas Bragg excused himself to grab a drink he clearly didn't need. Abigail Langford looked as if she wanted to melt into a chair. Even Rebecca Aldrink, uncalm, composed, professional, looked shaken. Erika's silence was answer enough. It wasn't about her future. It was about someone else's political agenda. Usha took a step back and exhaled sharply, trying to keep herself from exploding. "Erika, someone is using you. Someone is manipulating your grief. Someone is feeding you an illusion." Erika's lips trembled. It wasn't defensive trembling this time. It was the trembling of someone who suddenly realized she might be a pawn in a game far larger than she ever imagined. "I didn't think it was her. I thought maybe God was opening a door." Priya almost lost her composure at that. She whispered to Usha, "She's delusional." Usha shook her head. "No, someone is making her delusional." Asha's voice dropped to a low, dangerous tone. "Whoever planted this idea in your mind didn't do it out of kindness. They did it because they wanted chaos. They wanted to destabilize JD's image by making you look like a threat to my marriage. They wanted the public to whisper your name next to his. They wanted the public to whisper your name next to his." Erika squeezed her eyes shut. But they told me the public was ready to see someone more relatable. They said people need emotion in politics now." They said she stopped herself. Asha felt a cold shiver slide down her spine. "They said what?" Erika hesitated again, then whispered the sentence that shattered the room. "They said America would respond more to a grieving widow than a quiet academic. A widow, a loss, a woman with a story, someone close to JD, had pitched the idea that Erika's tragedy made her politically appealing." Rebecca Aldrin covered her mouth. Abigail's wine glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. Thomas Bragg muttered something under his breath that wasn't exactly family-friendly Marcus Hale. The former RNC strategist stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. Priya grabbed Asha's arm. "This is sabotage." Asha didn't breathe for a moment. Then she said, "Who said that to you?" Erika whispered, They said America needs someone who looks like hope rising from heartbreak. They said people would see me as inspiring. They said, "Name now." Asha's voice cracked with fury she'd never shown publicly. And then Erika broke completely. She choked on her words, tears spilling down her face as she whispered the name Stephen Renner. The room exploded. Stephen Renner wasn't just anyone. He wasn't some junior intern. He wasn't a random staffer. He was one of J.D. Vance's closest allies, a man who managed donor relations, a man with influence, access, and ambition of his own, a man who had been suspected before quietly of trying to shape JD's political future to suit his personal strategy. But no one expected this. Priya almost shouted, "He's trying to create a narrative. If the public saw Erika as inspirational and emotionally resonant, then JD would appear more human, more connected, more relatable." Abigail finished. Marcus Hale added, "And if Usha faded into the background because she's private and composed, the spotlight naturally shifts to Erika," Rebecca whispered. Usha felt sick. This wasn't just manipulation. This was a calculated move. Someone had been trying to reshape JD's image by creating a triangle. JD gives us stable, controlled, quiet. JD gives Erika emotional, compelling, marketable, a contrast, a storyline, a hook for the public. Someone was treating her marriage like a political narrative to be rewritten. Asha's fist tightened. Stephen Renard thinks he can rebrand JD by my role, by using a widow to rewrite the optics. Erika whispered, he said it would help the country see JD as a leader with heart. He said, Osha, cut her off. He said whatever he needed to say to manipulate you. You aren't the villain here. You're the tool. Everyone went silent. It hit Erika like a slap. A tool, a pawn, a face to place next to JD to create emotional appeal, she cried. And for the first time that night, her tears weren't strategic. They were real. I thought Charlie would want me to have purpose, she whispered. Priya put a hand to her chest. Abigail began whispering prayers. Rebecca shook her head in disbelief. And then came the reveal no one was ready for. Wua said, Stephen Rena knew exactly what he was doing, and he didn't do it alone. Erika sniffed. What do you mean? Asha stared into her eyes. There's someone else, someone feeding him, someone who gave him the idea to use you, someone who benefits from this chaos. Erika froze. Usha inhaled deeply. Someone in Charlie's old circle. Erika's gasp was sharp enough to cut the room. Charlie's circle, Charlie's people. Someone close to Erika before she even realized she was being used. Someone who knew her vulnerabilities. Someone who knew her grief. Someone who knew exactly how to push her. Yusha finished the sentence slowly, painfully. Someone who wants JD's future to fall apart. Erika whispered, tell me who? But Yusha didn't answer. Not yet, because the truth, the real truth, was bigger, darker, and far more dangerous than anyone realized. And the name Yusha had uncovered, it would set Washington on fire. The moment Erika whispered, tell me who? The room shifted into a different kind of silence, one that felt heavy, dangerous, electrically charged. Dusha didn't answer. Not yet! Not because she wanted drama, but because the truth was so explosive, it had the power to tear Washington in half. And while that truth simmered behind Asha's cold, steady gaze, the outside world was already boiling over because the second Asha stepped out of that townhouse, her face pale, her jaw clenched, her phone buzzing, non-stop rumors started, spilling like gasoline on concrete. Someone in that house was live texting leaks to political insiders. Someone had already told conservative strategists what went down. Someone had whispered Erika's name into a reporter's ear. By the time Usha reached her car, a political influencer with 1.3 million followers had already tweeted, Vance's wife confronted a political widow tonight. Chaos! And from that moment forward, the world didn't rest. Within an hour, Twitter X was a battlefield. Political commentators, anonymous staffers, rival conservatives, far-left activists, gossip channels, wannabe insiders. Everyone was fighting, theorizing, accusing, and unraveling clues in real time. One tweet read, someone tried to position a grieving widow as the next first lady. Bro, what is going on? Another, Jay needs to lock his circle down. This is sabotage. Another, it's the betrayal for me. A staffer manipulating both women. Disgusting. But the darkest one, said someone close to Charlie Kirk, helped orchestrate this. This isn't random. This is a coordinated hit on JD and Asha. This is an attack disguised as ambition. Within hours, the narrative became bigger than Erika, bigger than Asha, bigger than JD. This wasn't drama anymore. This was a political war, and Washington loves a war. Political podcasts scrambled to record emergency episodes. Cable networks added last-minute segments. PR teams pulled all-nighters drafting statements JD would never release. Insiders exchanged encrypted messages, terrified that someone in their own circle was a mole. Meanwhile, news of the confrontation leaked to Capitol Hill. One senator texted another, "Did you hear? Yusha walked in on a kunda making." A lobbyist sent a voice memo to a friend. "Someone is trying to destroy JD from the inside." This is bigger than a widow with ambition, political consultant posted on a burner. This is the biggest intrary betrayal since the McConnell leak. Trust me. And while Washington spun deeper into chaos, TikTok turned the entire situation into a virtual detective arena. Creators were posting 10-minute breakdowns, complete with reenactments, leaked screenshots, AI voiceovers, dramatic music theories involving Erika, and JD theories involving the staffer, Stephen Rayner theories suggesting foreign funding theories about Charlie's old enemies. One TikTok with 8.3 million views said this was a setup. Stephen Rayner didn't act alone. Someone wants Erika to look like a threat. Someone wants Osha to lose her composure. Someone wants JD to lose control. The comments went insane. This is framing her. It's giving internal code. This is House of Cards in real life. I guarantee someone in Charlie's circle hates JD. Someone wants to pit the widows and wives against each other. Then one influencer known for leaking DC secrets dropped the bomb. The name Yusha uncovered is someone you all know. The internet froze. Who? Which circle? Which ally? Which betrayer? Before anyone could catch their breath, the news spread to traditional media. Fox News hosts debated whether the botched manipulation attempt was a threat to JD's political trajectory. CNN analysts called it a power play gone wrong. Newsmax threatened to release exclusive footage, though no one knew if they actually had anything. Every headline screamed drama. Inside the Erika Yusha showdown, political friend Oko, who is sabotaging JD Vance, First Lady War ambition collides. With power, meanwhile, Erika was spiraling. She wasn't talking to anyone. Not friends, not family, not strategists, not church contacts. A neighbor said she was pacing her living room non-stop with the lights off, phone in hand, laptop open. Stress. Visible from the street, her public image had gone from grieving to ambitious to manipulated pawn, that is. But the people going the hardest weren't the trolls, they were political wives. Abigail Langford released a cryptic Instagram story. "Don't let anyone use your tragedy for their gain." A senator's wife tweeted, "Women in politics deserve respect, not manipulation." One congressman's wife posted, "There's someone behind all this. Mark my words, these weren't coincidences, these were warnings." Meanwhile, JD Vance's team went into full lockdown mode. Phones confiscated, staff called into private rooms. No one allowed to speak to media. Everyone told to expect fallout. Rumors spread that JD confronted Stephen Rayner behind closed doors. Voices raised, security alerted. Others said Stephen vanished for hours without explanation. Some said he smirked during the confrontation, claiming JD understand the bigger picture. But the most alarming rumor came from a terrified assistant who posted anonymously. Stephen Rayner wasn't the mastermind. He was following instructions. Instructions from who? That one comment sent Washington hyperventilating. The calls poured into Asha's phone. Congressional wives asked what happened. Donors wanted to know who to cut off. Advisors begged Asha not to release the name. But Asha's silence only made people hungrier. And then something unexpected happened. A burner account appeared at midnight with only one sentence. The person behind this was Charlie's confidant. Charlie, his confidant, someone Erika trusted. Someone she leaned on after the funeral. Someone she assumed was protecting her. Someone who may have guided her into political suicide. The internet screamed who? Which confidant? Why sabotage JD? Why manipulate Erika? What is the end game? And then came the worst part. The burner account deleted itself within 2 minutes, disappeared, but the damage was done. Now the public believed something far darker than ambition or manipulation. Someone connected to Charlie was using Erika as a weapon against JD. Not for love, not for ambition, not even for fame, for revenge, for legacy, for control. And the only person who knows the mastermind's name is Asha. And she hasn't said it. Not yet, because revealing it will tear open a secret the nation is not ready to hear. The name weighed on Asha's tongue like poison, so heavy, so catastrophic, so reputation-ending that even she, a woman known for her calm, brilliant composure, hesitated to speak it aloud. Not because she feared backlash, and not because she feared power. No, she hesitated because once this name entered the public, there would be no way to put the monster back in its cage. The world outside was already on fire. Twitter was in meltdown. Cable news was circling like sharks. Political wives were whispering in panic. Think tank consultants were preparing for fallout. And Erika was unraveling. She sat on the edge of her couch, laptop open, phone vibrating every 3 seconds, tears streaking her face. Every message said something different. You were used. They set you up. Get away from JD's circle. Charlie's people were never loyal. Watch your back. But the one that shook her the most came from an unknown number. Don't say his name. You know what he's capable of. Capable of. As if this wasn't political, as if this wasn't ambition, as if this wasn't sabotage, as if it was danger. Meanwhile, Yusha wasn't at home. She was pacing a dim hallway inside a closed DC office building, a location JD's security chief insisted on after the leak went wild. He wanted her safe. He wanted her away from cameras. And more than anything, he wanted her away from whoever had engineered this operation. JD wasn't with her. He was in a separate room briefing senior advisors who looked like they were preparing for war. Red eyes, tight jaws, furious whispers. JD had never faced something like this. Not from the opposition, and definitely not from inside his own political ecosystem. Priya stood with Yusha, holding her phone tightly, replaying the recording of Erika collapsing in that townhouse. Each replay felt heavier, slower, more sinister. Osha listened again and again to Erika's trembling confession. Someone close to Charlie, someone he trusted. He told me JD's future is vulnerable. He said I could step into a narrative that benefits everyone. Everyone. Who is everyone? Who gains from this? That was the real question. The door opened. Jade's chief of staff stepped out, his face pale. We have to know the name, he said. If we don't, we can't contain the damage. Someone is orchestrating this from the shadows. Yusha looked up slowly. You don't understand, she whispered. This isn't just a staffer. This isn't just a strategist. This is someone who knows how to move people like pieces. Priya leaned closer. Yusha, you have to say it. Shah's fingers curled around the edge of the table. If I reveal this, everything changes for me, for JD, for her, for the entire movement. Outside those walls, YouTubers were going live every 10 minutes. TikTok creators were piecing together. Twitter threads were claiming coups, affairs, hidden agendas. Political commentators were practically salivating at this chaos. And then because drama never arrives alone, another leak surfaced. A screenshot, a message sent months ago from the mysterious mastermind to Erika. You were always meant for something bigger than Charlie's shadow. The internet ignited. People began dragging every male figure who had ever known Charlie's. Every business partner, every advisor, every church associate, every early mentor. Comments flooded. Who could manipulate her like this? This is a cult mindset. Who benefits from JD's destruction? Then, one user tweeted something spine-chilling. Be careful who you trust. Some people loved Charlie too much. Too much. Not romantically, not emotionally, but possessively. Like someone who saw Erika as a trophy of legacy. Like someone who believed Charlie owned the movement and JD was an intruder. like someone who thought Erika stepping into the spotlight was justice. Inside the secure office, JD finally walked out of the conference room exhausted, angry, determined. "Tell me the name," he said quietly. O'Shea looked at him, really looked at him, and for a moment, the whole world fell away. No power, no status, no strategy, just a man, woman who had built a life together, now threatened by a ghost from Charlie's past. Priya whispered Ushai. "They deserve to know." Ushai inhaled deeply, her hands shaking, and then finally she spoke. "The person behind this, the one feeding Stephen Rayner, the one pushing Erika into this fantasy." JD stepped closer. Asha's voice broke as she finished the sentence. "Is Charlie's oldest, most trusted mentor, not a friend, not a strategist, not a staffer, a mentor, a man who had shaped Charlie's worldview, a man who believed J.D. Vance was never worthy of inheriting the movement Charlie built, a man who saw Erika as a bridge to reclaiming power, a man with enough influence to manipulate a grieving widow, enough access to feed Stephen Rayner talking points, enough resentment to attempt a political storyline that would destabilize JD from the inside out." JD staggered back. "No, it can't be him." Priya covered her mouth. "He adored Charlie. He hated how fast you rose." The puzzle connected. The motive clicked. The conspiracy became horrifyingly clear. He didn't want fame. He didn't want money. He wanted control. Control of the movement Charlie helped build. Control of the narrative. Control of the widow. Control of the rising star. And destroying Asha's position. "That was collateral damage," JD whispered. "What does he want?" Asha's voice cracked. "He wants to replace you." Silence. Dead, suffocating silence. And then her last sentence sliced through the air like a blade, and he's not done yet, because somewhere in Washington, that mentor was already planning his next move, already manipulating new players, already crafting the next narrative. And tonight's chaos was just the opening act. And now that everything is out in the open, the manipulation, the political engineering, the emotional weaponizing of a grieving widow, the betrayal from inside J.D. Vance's own orbit, and the shocking mastermind secretly pulling Erika like a puppet, there's only one truth left. This is not over. Not even close. Because if Charlie's mentor is really the architect behind this twisted political storyline, if he really planted ideas inside Erika's mind, if he really coached Stephen Rayner into destabilizing Jod's home, his image, his marriage, his entire future, then this isn't just a scandal. This is a power coup happening in broad daylight. And you, yes, you watching right now need to weigh in, because this story is rewriting itself every hour. And the comments you drop may be the very clues that shape the next chapter. So tell me right now, do you think Erika was a victim? Or was she willingly stepping into a fantasy someone fed her? Do you believe Charlie's mentor did this because he hates JD's rise, or because he wants to resurrect the version of the movement H controlled? Do you think Stephen Rayner was a mastermind, or just a pawn working under someone else's influence? Do you think Usha should expose the mentor publicly? Or would that unleash a political disaster even bigger than this? And most importantly, why do you think Charlie's mentor wanted Erika in a First Lady type role? Was it revenge? Was it ego? Was it legacy? Or was it something darker? Something we still haven't uncovered? Drop your theories in the comments. Drop your predictions. Drop the receipt. Do you think Usha is still holding on to, because this story is spiraling fast? And if you want every new twist, every leaked message, every secret meeting, every meltdown, every name that gets exposed next, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next chapter of this political war is coming. And trust me, it's going to make everything you heard tonight look small. Stay ready, stay watching, stay alert. The next leak is coming, and when it hits, JD, Yusha, Erika, and the entire movement will never be the same. Erika and the entire movement will never be the same. Never be the same.